Hey everyone, today we're going to be exploring New York City's LaGuardia Airport. This is Terminal C, which is the Delta terminal. It's my personal favorite. This is a multi-billion-dollar renovation, and I think they've just done a fantastic job. It's modern, it's easy to navigate. They have tons of restaurants, tons of bars, tons of coffee shops. Everything that you could imagine they have right here at LaGuardia Airport, Terminal C. And in today's video, we're going to be doing a complete walking tour, exploring everything that LaGuardia has to offer. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. The first impression of the terminal immediately are these massive floor-to-ceiling glass windows that let in a ton of light. Depending on which side you're walking on, you have great views overlooking the water, and you could even see the Mets Stadium where the New York Mets play. All the furnishings and the fixtures are very modern. It's also quite spacious. You have gates 70 to 79 on the left, gates 80 through 99 right in front of us. That's the area in which we'll explore first. You also have multiple airport lounges at LaGuardia, including the Delta Sky Club, which is located right as you exit the TSA security. Today is October 3rd, 2025. And it's about 8:30 a.m. I usually like to get the morning flight out of New York to Miami. The first flight out is usually a 5:15 a.m. flight. And I was reading online, there was an article out in the Wall Street Journal the other day warning of extensive delays at airports such as LaGuardia due to the government shutdown. However, there was absolutely no line, like zero line. So my flight board's at 10:30, and I got here extremely early because I thought I was going to have to wait in line, but there's virtually nobody here. Here you'll have the exit to the baggage claim, as well as ground transportation. And now we're about to pass the Delta Sky Club, as well as the main security. Just as a quick reminder, you no longer have to take your shoes off at the airports in the United States. Here they even have a pet relief area next to the men's and women's room. This is one of the nice views that I was talking about earlier. You're overlooking the tarmac. You could see all the Delta planes. And in the distance, you're overlooking the water, and I believe that's the Whitestone Bridge. It's either the Whitestone and the Throgs Neck Bridge. but it's really, really nice. It's kind of cool to see all of the aircraft lined up, taxiing, if you will. And then here is the Delta Sky Club. If anybody has an American Express card or a Platinum card, you do have complimentary access to the Delta Sky Lounge, I believe. But American Express, along with many other premium credit card issuers, such as the JP Morgan Chase Sapphire card, are raising all of their annual fees. I think the American Express Platinum is now just a tad under $900 per year, which seems a little bit crazy for a credit card, but I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do there. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Are you going to cancel that American Express or Chase Sapphire card now that the fees have gotten cartoonishly ridiculous? Here's the main TSA area, the security. And then above you can see the Delta Sky Lounge. I love this airport. It's fantastic. But my favorite airport is in South Korea, the Incheon Seoul International Airport. It's one of the most impressive airports I've ever been in. Here's another view looking outside over all the Delta planes. And then a quick view of the main landing as you get out of the security overlooking the Delta Sky Club again. And as you can see, pretty empty. You also have these brand new state-of-the-art departure boards, which are extremely clear and easy to read. And they'll also give you rough estimates of the time it would take to get into New York City if you take an Uber or Lyft. Look at how nice the murals are. Definitely makes the airport feel more inviting. For a tier 1 city like New York City, it's really unacceptable not to have grade A infrastructure, not only for locals, but for tourists and visitors. So a new LaGuardia airport definitely complements New York City as a tier 1 city. The only drawdown that I would mention about LaGuardia is there's really no public transportation here, right? Obviously, you could take the bus, right? But I'm talking about an AirTrain type solution that you have at Kennedy Airport or JFK. Because if you're an international traveler flying into JFK, and then maybe you travel domestically throughout the United States, and you choose to fly out of LaGuardia, it's going to be a little bit difficult for you to get here, assuming if you want to try to save some money and not spend $100 on Ubers. So who knows, perhaps in the future the city will build some sort of rail infrastructure that will take you from the city to LaGuardia. You have more food options. You have Dos Toros, a chopped protein bar. The interesting thing about this level, you can see how gates 80 through 89 are actually downstairs. So this bar here overlooks all of the different gates, and it's a very cool experience because it's almost like a terrace view overlooking the water at this bar, and you have a great view of all the other gates. For me, it's the ceiling heights. I think that is the most luxurious thing about the airport. I mean, if you have 10-foot ceilings in an airport, it just feels so laborious to travel. But this is like being in an atrium. It is very, very nice and extremely impressive. I also like the backlighting and the wood paneling on the ceiling. Plenty of public seating space as well, with outlets that actually work. If I stand here and pan the camera up a little bit, you can see exactly what I was talking about as the bars and all those retail shops act as a terrace. It's called the terrace bar. And you're looking down at all the different gates. There's actually an advertisement playing for the Amex card. But you could just get a Gemini card and earn in Bitcoin or a different cryptocurrency. Gemini is now a publicly traded company. It's the company that was founded by the Winklevoss twins. You might be familiar with them from the Social Network movie when they went up against Mark Zuckerberg battling for Facebook. But in all, they turned out pretty well. They now run and operate a very successful cryptocurrency exchange, as well as the Gemini card. So down here it goes to gate 89A. To the left you have a flight to West Palm. Not a big fan of the West Palm Beach airport, to be honest. I either try to fly into Miami or Fort Lauderdale. Okay, we'll make a U-turn. We'll turn around. and we'll check out the additional wings of the airport, where you're going to have even more food options. Another observation I have about LaGuardia are the public restrooms. There's a ton of restrooms. You have two more on your right. You have a family changing room and a dog relief area. Looks like a bagel store over there. In one of my other walking videos around the Upper West Side of Manhattan, I was talking about this bagel place. It's a relatively new place. It's called Pop-Up Bagels, if you want to look it up. I was looking into the business model. But do some research on it. Pop-Up Bagels. They are a franchisee business model, and I think they're really going to take New York City by storm. It's a similar business model to Crumble Cookie, which has been extremely successful, and they sell their product in a similar fashion as Crumble Cookie does. So you can't just walk in there and buy one bagel, I don't believe. They sell an assortment of mini bagels in these like pretty boxes with cream cheese on the side. There's like numerous locations throughout Manhattan's Upper West Side. You have two more restrooms in the back. And you have the Delta Customer Service Center for rebooking your flights, changing flights. And then you have the Terminal C Gate 81 Starbucks. Speaking of coffee, there is a new Chinese coffee company that has come to New York City, which I think should be on everybody's radar. We've talked about it before. It is called Luckin Coffee. And a lot of the Chinese brands, and I've been studying them extensively for years, I think they're really going to crush the competition in the United States for a few reasons. And mainly because the business model gamifies the shopping experience. So if you just download the Luckin Coffee app and just kind of do a post-analysis of it, all of the prices are, in theory, similarly priced to that of Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts, but very, very seldom will a consumer ever pay rack rate. And that's because if you go at least once a week, they give you a 40 to 50% off coupon for your next coffee purchase, right? So it almost is like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like an addiction to purchase, an incentivization to purchase, if you will. Now, Luckin Coffee used to be publicly traded in the United States. It was NASDAQ listed, and it traded under the ticker symbol LK. However, they had about $350 million worth of alleged accounting fraud, in which case they were delisted from the NASDAQ. However, they still trade OTC, and it's an ADR, which is an American Depository Receipt. So you could still buy the stock, but it's an ADR, and it's actually a very good company. It was one of the top performing fast casual stocks in China in 2023 and 2024. And they're just now expanding into the United States. They have a location on 28th Street and 8th Avenue in New York. And they have one more down by New York University, which makes sense because you have a high concentration of international Chinese students.
Attention in the terminal, flight 5711 will now service insurance.
So keep an eye out for those type of business models, like gamifying the shopping experience. Luckin Coffee is on the radar, and so is Pop-Up Bagels. Look at how gorgeous the dining room is here. Okay, we'll now head towards gates 90 and 99. You have another exit to your right. Good attention to detail here, as it tells you the rough estimation of the time it's going to take to walk to your gate. So from here it says it's going to take about 5 to 7 minutes to walk from where we are to gate 90 and 99. And here we have yet another Starbucks coffee location. The interior design is fantastic here. Now we do have some biggish news out of Starbucks. The new CEO is the former CEO of Chipotle, who really turned around that company and created an unbelievable amount of value for shareholders. And he's trying to recreate the same process with Starbucks. And I think he's going to pull it off. Because essentially what he's done is he's done a complete audit of underperforming Starbucks stores in the United States, and he is set to close them. So there's numerous locations in New York City, LA, and Boston that are going to be taking the brunt of the store closures, the unprofitable locations. And I think that is going to be short-term pain, long-term gain for the company. Because if you've listened to any of Brian Nichols' interviews as new CEO, he addresses some of the main concerns which I believe a lot of consumers share about Starbucks, particularly if you live in a major city. Many of the stores in San Francisco, if you've ever spent some time there, many of the stores in New York City and in Boston, they've really turned into these homeless encampments, and it's degraded the in-store experience, which if you've ever read any of Howard Schultz's books, which I would highly recommend doing, the whole reason why Howard Schultz created Starbucks is to have the third place, or the third experience. People go home, they go to work, and then Howard Schultz wanted to create that third place, which is Starbucks, where communities can get together, people can go on first dates, you could hang out with your kids, get some studying done. But if this is the Met Stadium, by the way. It's kind of cool to see here. It's a city field. Great view. But if there's homeless people and drug addicts, shooting heroin in the bathroom, that's really going to take away from the in-store experience. It also makes employees very disgruntled, and rightfully so, which is one of the many reasons why you've seen the labor union movement sweep across Starbucks, because if you're a Starbucks barista, you're getting paid to make coffee. You're not getting paid to be a therapist. You're not getting paid to be a mental health counselor. you're not getting paid to be a police officer. And unfortunately, that's the role that many of these Starbucks employees have had to take on. You know, fighting with homeless people, you know, fighting crime, fighting shoplifting. So by closing those underperforming stores and really focusing on the ones that are profitable, I believe they'll be able to get back to the original in-store experience. And I think that Brian Niccol will be able to deliver that for shareholders. It's going to be difficult, though, with all these new competition popping up, particularly from Asia. On a quick side note here before we explore down into the terminal, another Chinese company is opening its first location in New York City. It's called Mixue, Mixue. They are a Chinese, almost like boba bubble tea brand. And they have more locations globally than McDonald's, even though many Americans have never heard of the brand. And the majority of their menu items are under $5. They sell like bobas and ice creams and things like that. And their first location is coming to Flushing, Queens, I believe. And once they start to land and expand in the United States, I think it's going to be game over. I think they're going to do really, really well. Another really nice restaurant here. This is the Flatiron Tavern. Very modern, very new. Great bar setup with the bar stools. To your left, you have another departure board. Wow, whoever did the interior design should really win a prize. Super clean, very inviting. They've really done a fantastic job. It's very impressive. Oh, and you have a birch coffee. This is actually very, very good coffee. I always go to the location at the Moynihan Train Hall in New York City. Birch coffee is fantastic. After I film this video, I may get a coffee there. This is really nice detail here in New York. With all the different major landmarks. You can see Niagara Falls there. Wow, check out that view. That's amazing. City Fields. Speaking of Flushing, Queens, it's right over here. You can take the 7 train. Notice all the light pouring in. That's so critical when you're traveling. You can see Montauk, which is out in Long Island, Catskills, Rochester, Queens, Niagara Falls. I just got back from Niagara Falls on the Canadian side, and driving all through New York State really makes me realize that I really do believe that New York State is the best state in the United States. Just so much to offer. Not only do you have New York City, but you have some great beaches out on Long Island. You have really nice towns upstate, such as Larchmont, Rye, further upstate in like central New York. You have some amazing towns like Skaneateles, New York, which I was just there on my way to Niagara Falls. It's an amazing place, unbelievable place, right on the lake. So you really have the best of both worlds within a 4-hour drive of anywhere, or a 45-minute flight. You could be in the greatest city on earth. You could be out in the Hamptons. You could be up in Skaneateles. You could be in Niagara Falls. Pretty amazing. Very, very clean as well. They keep this unbelievably clean LaGuardia.
I do the ask.
All right, everyone, if you enjoyed that walking tour of LaGuardia Airport, subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video, and as always, we will see you in the next one, and thank you so much for watching. Take care.